Hello, my name's Camden, and I'm here with Acorn Hobbies. I've seen a lot of people talking, especially after Galactic Championships, about what to do as a new player. There are new players showing up all the time, and while there are some awesome, helpful guides for rules and for getting set up and all that sort of stuff, I think that it's awesome to have some first steps. Like Obi-Wan says, these are your first steps into a larger world. So when you're, checking out this game, it's probably great to have the 5 things that you can do as a new player. The 5 things that you should do first as your first steps into SWU. So here's the very first one. It might be a little obvious, but you should play a game. I know that's crazy, but I genuinely think that you should play a game. Like, it sounds so simple, but a lot of people will pick up this game and will have no clue what's going on, and then maybe it seems too daunting, especially with like Intro Battle Hoth, something that's made to be a little bit simpler, but might still be daunting for someone who comes from like a board game background. Maybe they've played a lot of Monopoly and Trouble and Sorry, but like this just feels like too much. So if that's you, what I encourage you to do is to play a game, even if it takes a long time. Sit down and play a game. Play the starter deck leaders against each other. Go to your local game store and see if they're running a demo. Just about every other month, a local store in my area runs a demo night that just says, hey, come in, play these games against either our staff or people in the community who care about this game. You should show up and play a game. Second thing you should do is you should play a draft. Now, when I say play a game, I typically mean a constructed game. 30 HP on the base, or maybe I guess a token base with set 5. And then, standard 50 card decks, normal leaders, all that sort of stuff. When you're playing a draft, things are a little bit different. It's a smaller deck, but it's teaching you a couple of things. First, it's teaching you about a bunch of different cards. Go slow. Read through the pack. Maybe someone might want to go quick. It's okay. Read through the cards. If you don't feel comfortable, ask someone, is this a card I should take? I don't feel comfortable pulling any of these cards. I don't know which ones are good. Hey, can you help me? If you're playing at your FLGS, I hope that someone would be able to just be kind enough to help you out, because ultimately, most of the time, these aren't worth enough for people to, try hard them. And if they are, then maybe your FLGS should consider doing a draft night for new players, because draft is going to be a big deal in the competitive scene, but it also is one of the ways that this game is meant to be played. It's meant to be played in a draft format where you open up a pack, you take out your leaders, you take out all those other cards, and you just pass it around, grabbing new cards. It's a great way for a new player to get cards as well. So you should be playing a draft as the second thing that you do when you jump into SWU. The third thing that you should do is you should build a deck. I use SWUDB.com, SWUDB.com, to build my decks. It's a beautiful deck builder. Parker does a great job with all of it, and I love the fact that it just has all these cards and all their art, and you can sort by abilities and traits and all that sort of stuff. And you can do that easily. I think that the best way to get comfortable with cards is to play with them. The second best way is to build with them. To sit there and just go, that could be a cool combo. That could work really well. If that card buffs that card, then this could work well. And suddenly you're able to build a deck that maybe is thematic or maybe is mechanically coherent. And then what you do, you go back to step 1. You play that deck. You build it, you put it together, you see if maybe someone has some proxies for you, someone has some extra cards they can loan you, whatever. You build that deck, you play it. It'll be great. The more you build, the better you'll be. Even if you're not building good decks, you are learning cards faster. You're able to pick that up, and suddenly it becomes, muscle memory. When you see a card's art, you just go, oh, that card, it has ambush and grit. Or, oh, that card, it has sentinel and can, reduce the attack of opponent's units. Stuff like that. Building a deck really helps you get familiar with the cards while also allowing you to see what you might like. That leads to the fourth thing. You should expand your collection. A lot of people may be content with just grabbing the starter decks or Intro Battle Hoth or whatever, and that's perfectly fine. But if you find yourself enjoying the game, the best way to keep enjoying the game is to grab a couple more cards. Even if it's not super expensive ones. Even if you're not cracking packs, buying some singles and being able to expand your collection can really, really help. One of the things that I encourage for new players is to go to your local game shop and see if some of the more veteran players have any commons or uncommons to give you. I would be shocked if they didn't. A lot of people who crack a lot of packs have a ton of cards left over. And if you're sitting here right now, I don't even know if I have a local game store. I don't even know if I have people in my area who play. I saw this at Target and grabbed it for me and my kids. Shoot me a message on here. I would love to talk with you and get you connected, because that's a passion I have for the game, is to get people involved into their local communities. And I've got a ton of cards that I can ship you if you really are in dire need of more cards. Shoot me a message on here. I'd love to hear more about that and help you get, accommodated with everything that's going on, so that you can expand your collection, build more decks that way, play more games that way. You can expand your collection by doing drafts, which is a great way to do it because you're playing games and getting cards. It's awesome. Highly recommend adding more cards to your collection. FFG doesn't sponsor me, but please sponsor me, FFG. I'm, really putting my heart into this one. And finally, you should play regularly. If you want to keep getting into SWU, the easiest way to get further into it is to keep playing regularly. If you're able to make it to locals every week or every other week, do that. If you're able to play some kitchen table games, maybe you invite your wife along, maybe your kids join you, maybe you have some friends over and you do a draft night. You buy a box, you split it up, and you do a draft. Playing regularly is the best way to want to keep playing the game. And the great thing is that there's enough different ways to play that you can find a way to play that suits you. Maybe you don't love the way that Constructed is going right now, the way that the normal meta game is. That's fine. Play some Twin Suns. It's janky and crazy and fun, and you get to do crazy combos and have a blast. Maybe you're like, man, I want to use these cards, but they just don't fit into any of my decks. Play Draft. You'll be able to use those cards. When you pull them, grab them. Build your deck around it. Force it if it has to be. Play Yoda for 10. Play Vader for 8. Play whatever, just do the crazy stuff. Even if you're not winning, when you're playing regularly and you're having fun doing so, it'll take you a long way in this game. Now, you may be thinking, what should I buy? Well, here's what you should buy. The first thing that I would recommend for all players is the starter decks. Now, I'll throw Intro Battle Hoth into here as kind of this is an additional thing. Maybe you bought Intro Battle Hoth as your way into the game. Maybe you saw it at Walmart or Target or something like that. You found it on Amazon. I think that these starter decks, or I guess their spotlight decks, are well worth buying. So when I say top 5, technically these are 4 products in and of themselves, and Intro Battle Hoth makes that 5, but we're counting them all as 1 because these are cards, or these are decks that have meta-relevant cards in them, and they also are fun and thematic. It's so cool to get to have Han face off against Boba and have Qui-Gon face off against Maul. It's so cool, and they fit really well in a vacuum. So if you're playing these decks against each other, they're about the same power level. They're tested against each other, so it means that they fit pretty well to just fight each other. One of the other things that I really like about these is that they include now a pack. So you get an extra pack just for, playing the game. And you get leaders that are unique to these, things, or the pre-release kits. And so that means you get fun leaders like Qui-Gon Jinn, who gets to bounce cards back to hand to play other ones. Or Han Solo, who says never tell me the odds and builds his deck with all odd-costed cards. On top of that, these are leaders that are meta relevant. So if you want to play a deck that's pretty solid, Boba 4, he's a great deck. Maul 5, pretty great. And when I say 4 or 5, I mean that's the set. So it's the set that they came out in. That's the shorthand. But you can find out more about what those cards are and maybe what their subtitles are by going to SWUDB and to look at these cards, to familiarize yourself with them. I highly recommend you pick up these at the first thing that you buy for new players. Now, the second thing that I encourage people to buy is a token set. You might think, well, that's not really a SWU product, but it is a quality of life upgrade that will take you a long way. Having tokens for your epic action, for shields, for experience, for sentinels, for whatever, it's well worth it. And just having damage tokens cleans things up. A lot of people opt to use dice, and that's fine too, but that still doesn't give you stuff for XP and shields, and those cards can just become clunky. I highly recommend grabbing a token set. They're easier to find now. They're well worth it. They're high quality. I highly recommend it. Even if you don't get the official one, grab, one of the thousands of other ones that you can find on Etsy or wherever else and use those. Token sets will take you a long way, and it makes the game feel cooler, at least in my book. The third thing I'd recommend people to buy is a draft ticket. Go draft at your local stores. I'm being for real. When you are drafting, you are learning cards, you're getting cards, and you're having fun playing games. What else do you need? If you need the ability to play draft, maybe you find, a local Discord or a Facebook group and you say, hey, I'm going to buy a box. Can we get 8 people? Can we host a draft here at this store? Can we do whatever? I'm sure that you'll be able to find folks in your area who would love to do a draft. Or if not a draft, do a sealed event. Grab 6-packs, build a deck. It's great. I highly recommend it. I'll add as like a little addendum, a pre-release event is well worth going to. Highly recommend that. And that falls into that same sort of category of just you're familiarizing yourself with the cards. You're getting to know all these new mechanics. And you're doing so while you're also gaining those cards as well. So I highly recommend going to a draft or sealed event. The fourth thing that I'd recommend is packs. Crazy, I know. At this point, you can buy packs, and you can be pretty confident in buying packs because you probably have an idea on what set interests you the most. Now, when you're buying these packs, you may not be buying them just for the sake of ripping them, but you also might buy them for the sake of a draft, buy them for the sake of a sealed set, anything like that. Buy them for, their own purpose of opening them, but also use them as a part of the game. I think that they're very well designed and they're a lot of fun to crack open. The paper packaging makes it super easy to just rip into them. So fun. I love the way that the booster boxes have gone, especially in sets 4 and 5. Feels like I'm pulling better cards more often. I'm getting more legendaries. I'm getting more hyperspaces. It's awesome. I highly recommend it. So buy some packs. Pick some up. Maybe that means going to, a pre-release event. Maybe that means finding someone who has a collection online. Whatever. You can find boxes right now. I think every box except for set 1 is like $80 or less. So that's pretty solid. That will probably get you a decent value. And if you're just looking to round out your collection, you're doing so in a way that's fun. Ripping packs is fun. So I highly encourage grabbing some packs as the fourth thing that you buy. And finally, the last thing that you can buy is cards. Buy directly from tcgplayer.com or from Facebook on one of the Facebook buy-sell trade groups. Or I think Card Market is what it is in the EU. Buy from these places that are selling cards directly. And I chose these 3 cards actually because I think that all 3 of them are different price points. Poe is pretty expensive right now, McClunky is pretty cheap, and Tech is right there in the middle. These are hyperspace versions as well. I chose those just because they're pretty. But when you're buying cards directly, you're rounding out a deck. So if you're building a deck and you realize, in order to build my Sabine Green, I need 3 more wing leaders and 2 more wreckers. Go online. I'm sure someone's selling those. Or maybe you want to build kind of a crazy jank deck and you just think, there are a bunch of cards for really cheap. I can buy, cards for 2, 3, 4 cents a piece and then buy a whole deck for $10 by just building all these cards, getting a couple of rares, and boom, you're good to go. Might not be the most competitive thing in the world, but you're building your collection as you're building a deck. So the 5th thing I would say to buy is to buy singles and to do that repeatedly. Keep buying singles. It's always going to be cheaper to buy singles in the long run because packs aren't guaranteed. But part of the reason why I love buying packs is A, ripping packs is awesome, and B, it gives you cards that may be outside of your wheelhouse that either are able to be traded or allow you to use them in draft or sealed. So when you're doing these draft and sealed events, you're buying packs, and that allows you to get cards while also learning the game. So those are the top 5 SWU products for new players. Now, if you're sitting here thinking, I still don't know where to go, maybe I'm not sure where my friendly local game store is, I don't even know what these events are. When you say draft, what does that mean? What does a sealed event mean? I encourage you, write those comments in the comment section down below. I will be answering all of those questions. I want to help new players get into this game because truly I believe it's an incredible game. I think it's just so fun and it's well worth your time to get into. So if you're interested in learning more about what it means to play Star Wars Unlimited, to play SWU, If you're new to SWU, then check out some other videos here on this channel or on some other channels that are going to do a great job welcoming you into this game. And I hope that this was a helpful little explanation as to what this could look like for being a new player with Star Wars Unlimited. Thanks, and I'll catch y'all again here soon. Bye.